Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing? Make sure I got all my stuff together. Hi, Jennifer. Hello, Adrian. Oh, let's put this up. All right, there's my chat. Like to see the chat. Gotta see the chat. I feel like I've been off for a while, but it's been a week since I've been live. It's been a week since I've been online. Let's put it that way. Even when I didn't do my live on Wednesday, and after that, I wasn't online. I really haven't been online since Wednesday. No, Tuesday. Tuesday. All right, y'all come on in as Cookie said so eloquently at the very beginning. Hello to the early birds who are waiting. Thank you for popping in, coming in. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I got paint. Look, I'm literally gonna be slapping paint on paper, closing all these boxes so I can see my chat. I'm downloading something. Okay, if y'all can hear me good, I don't want to be yelling, but I also don't really have a good voice. I also am doing a whole lot of self conversations over here with myself. I'm not going to say it took a lot to come live. It's just some things I don't want to put out in the universe on the live. Hence is why Create Joy Studio needed to take a break. I needed to talk to myself. I needed to do what I tell you guys to do. Grab some coffee, grab some tea, or go sit somewhere and, do what you need to do. Take care of you. So that's really what I did. I took my own advice. I went down some rabbit holes of books, like tangible books in hand. I did not, I couldn't get on the internet. Um, so I'm going to show y'all some things. I'm going to show you. So from Wednesday all the way to yesterday, the last one I finished was yesterday. Let's see, let's move this out of the way because I don't want to knock nothing over. And if y'all hear my printer in the background, again, I'm printing out, trying to decide how I want my emotional intelligence journal so that it couldn't be this way. I mean, it could have, but it couldn't have. It could have. Like, really, now that I'm thinking about it, I could have did the same thing what I'm doing now. But some people like it small and some people want it big. So I'm doing it two different ways. And then whichever way I like, then I'll take it to what one of them stores to print out. But right now it did pretty good printing it out on this is on my Epson. So it did pretty good. And this is what was this? What was that, 5 by 4? See, I gotta cut it down. 5 by 6.5. Hey Tammy. Hi Sal. Who else I miss? And Webb. What's up, and Webb? How are you? And then I do appreciate you guys, those that reached out. I really do appreciate it. It's something to always be the person that does the caring, the person that does all of the, reaching out. But then when you have people to reach back out and say, "Hey, we miss you. Hey, you okay?" or whatever, knowing that it could be, I appreciate it. And it was quite a few. I thought I'd just be here for y'all to watch art. I think some of y'all really do care, huh? Just saying. Jennifer, it wasn't a good break because I had to take the break and being very vulnerable right now. I was very mad at myself that I wasn't strong enough to do my live on Wednesday. I beat myself up really bad. Just full transparency, as y'all know. I'm the one that's supposed to be able to, you know, that's what I do. But I could not bring myself to do the live. And I decided all the way up to the last minute. I just can't do it. And the reason being, if I can't put light out into the world, I don't want to put dark because there was enough darkness. And I was in a very, very, very dark. I was like in the ocean with uh with floaties on my arm. That's how I felt on Tuesday. And all of it was a trigger moment from an incident that happened, and it put me back into the place where I literally felt like I was in that moment all over again, like right in the moment. I was in public. I was not with people I felt like I could like say what was going on. So I had to repress, suppress, couldn't depress. So it was real hard. And then once I got home, I still had to kind of handle some things, and I just couldn't let go, like I really needed to. So I realized I did a lot of the self-work that I tell you guys to do. I did all the things. And I realized that I was in a moment, in a place where I couldn't get out of the water. I couldn't, there was no way that, like, again, I was in the ocean. Like, that's me there, and there's no land around, and there's nothing I could have said to myself to get myself out of it. Or even if a boat would have came along, I don't feel like I could have moved to even get on the boat to go to safety. So this is why I tell you guys to be aware of your emotions. Like, uh it matters because when people can't explain how they feel, then they often act it out instead. Like, my grief kind of was coming out as anger. My fear of controlling myself put me back in self control. I was trying to, control things, and that wasn't good. Um, then I realized that there was shame attached to it all because I was upset with myself and beat myself up because I couldn't show up. So there was shame, all of these things, but I had to name it. And so it took me the time off. So Jennifer said, did I enjoy the break? Looking at it now, being live now, yes, I did the break, and yes, it was a good break because I can name the things that was going on in my emotions, right? And my defensiveness, um, it fell off, as in I was really hurt about some things that was going on around. And there are people like, and not to call Bernadette out, but we have a group text, right? And usually we chat in our group text, and we encourage each other every morning with uplifting things. And um I put in there, pray for my strength. Well, Bernadette, no, I usually don't. I don't put it out there like that, right? Bernadette didn't text back in the text. Bernadette picked up the phone and called and was like, "Hey, everything all right? What's going on? Strength? What you need? What's up?" Because as a friend who's seen me go through the highs and the lows, and to know what's going on in the world today, she knows that there was something that possibly was going on. My friend LaQuisha, she called. She's like, "Hey, everything that's going on right now, I'm just checking on you." So there are people that do know when a mother loses a child in any way, shape, form, or fashion. My heart hurts, and so I have to really own, like I really have to own my stuff, right? And like I said, I'm being very, very vulnerable with you because I was upset. I was very upset with myself because I did not go live on Wednesday. Um, and then after that, I decided that I needed to not be on the internet at all for my sanity's sake. Because if I couldn't say anything good, then I didn't want to say anything at all. And I couldn't say anything good because of some things that were going on. And it continued. It's still happening. And I'm still not on the internet. I watched PMR Studio this morning. Um, and got my feet wet, kind of say. And so it wasn't a bad thing or anything. It's not about anybody else. It was a selfish move for me. I needed to take time for me. So I wanna lead by example. When you all have to take time off of the internet, do what you have to do. Like YouTube was maybe the only place that I could kind of pull up and maybe, but then I was just like, no, you need to name how you're feeling. Like you need to put a name on what's going on. Is it your own grief? Is it the grief for what's going on in the world? Is it, what is it, Karen? What is it? And so I kept asking myself the questions and I kept making journals, making journals. So all these journals came through the hard work of what is it, Karen? Right? So that's how it was. And so then when I realized that um the connection was from what happened with Carmelo Anthony. When I realized where it came from, because I was in public when I saw it on. Normally, I wouldn't have seen it so boldly because I wouldn't have been looking at the news. But where I was in a restaurant, and it came across. It was the highlight of every channel that was on in the restaurant. So I saw it, and it really I froze. I'm drinking my coffee. Then I had company in from out of town, not someone that I felt like I could again expose, hey, this is going on, whatever, whatever. When I get home, I'm gonna take maybe a minute or two or an hour, or I'm going on to bed. But I didn't, because I'm the type person that I feel like m- people will misunderstand my walk. Now, this is the people pleaser in me that kind of came back up. And so I fell into anguish, right? And if you know what anguish is, put it in chat. You know what anguish is. Okay, let me say hello. I got some more people. I see we got numbers done jumped up. Hey, Pinka. Up, Bernadette. Yep. Oh, you have to take. Yep, yep. There's Pinka. Paula K. Hey, Paula K. Paula K. I wish I could have just popped to where you were. I got Tammy. Yep, yep, yep. I think some people are in. Nope, there's Keisha. Hey, Keisha. Well, I love that book you sent to PM Artist Studio. And Nancy. Hey, Nancy. Right, Nancy is vintage hippie. Wait, no, 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 no. I might got that wrong. No, Nancy Lee's new thing is something with wine. Vintage hippie is. Let me go down here. I know. Vintage Jennifer. Yes. Hi, Jennifer from the UK. There we go. There we go. Ooh, okay, okay. Hey, Becky. Jennifer, I got Jennifer. Jackie in here. Jacqueline, let me see. Where's Jackie? Because Jackie reached out. We had a good conversation. Lovely. There's Jen. No. Lovely. All right. That's yes. There's Jacqueline because Jacqueline got the new. All right. I'm caught up. I'm caught up. Yes. Yes. Jackie is vintage. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. See, thank you. Thank you. See, that's what I'm saying. I need some cookies in my life. Like I need when life starts happening, I need to be able like the cookies to come up and be like, "Hey, this is going on. Hey, calm down. Hey, whatever." But I don't per se have that because most of the time I am that. So I asked a question and the answer came up. It's like I went back, y'all. This is how far I went back. I went back and pulled out books because I didn't want to get on the internet. I pulled out books, um, and I walked some books, some classes I had to write papers on, all the way back to undergrad, and I went through some things. And the one thing I pulled out my own book that I wrote after my son's death, and I realized that the loss of my son, I carried a lot of anguish, and the anguish that was centered around it, and that's what popped up last week. That's what it was, right? And I had to tell myself because I was back here, anguish doesn't, it didn't mean that I was weak. It only meant that something happened to me that mattered deeply. It means that my heart was responding to the pain that was going on in the world, that the loss that two families lost, a family lost a son and a family lost another son, either way, there's a loss. um and so that, and then the trauma around it was very human, and I had to really own it, right? But healing doesn't always remove anguish overnight. And me, here it is 7 years later. I did this to myself. So y'all gonna be very transparent, right? So be ready to walk with me. And then maybe you, hopefully you're not putting me up on a high pedestal because I'm still walking this thing out. But my healing for me personally, I was just like, okay, I shouldn't have all this anguish. But then it's like self was like, fool, anguish don't go nowhere just because it's been 7 years, it's been 20 years, it's still there. Because you know what? Anguish is pain that feels like it reaches the deepest part of you. And anguish is a word that I realized when I wrote my last book. It's a word we don't use. You don't hear anguish talked about. But when y'all look at these books were created from my artwork. These are already, again, handmade journals. Look at that little one. Isn't it cute? But it's made from my papers that I did on the black paper, some of them. And I Coptic stitched them because I want to practice on the Coptic stitching and see how it is with thick paper. And so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9. Hold on, I ain't done. I ain't done. This is what was going on as I was working through the anguish that was going on, right? Because I'll tell you, I was in a sad spot, sad spot, but still having to show up, still having to smile. These here, these were done. Pulled them out. Those were done. Stapled them all together, right? Because I needed to do something so that I wouldn't feel out of control, spiral. 'Cause, I got my grandkids here, and I couldn't just go outside and scream because they want nobody to think I was going crazy, but I was feeling like I was about to lose my crap, you know? So, but the sadness, it was there. And anguish is one of those things, is not just having a bad day. And, I had to realize that. But these are the handmade ones the original ones. I think it's only two in here. One, two, these four are the original ones. And I thought those did. I was just like, oh, well, let's go. Let's separate some more. Oh, I'm about to spill my coffee. Don't want to do that. Can't spill no coffee. And all of these. So I came and put all of these, took all those pages and just put them together any way, shape, form, or fashion that I felt like it. I didn't put any sticky, any page protector, whatever. It's just still just raw papers that I put in. And that started making me feel better. But and so I was like, okay, well, let me do something that will maybe give me a little bit more concentration, right? Which is how I started doing the Coptic stitching, putting the books together a little bit more intentional because I was doing intentional work. Because as I was doing it, I realized that I was grieving. Because when I lost my son, I didn't just lose a person that I loved. I lost part of my world. I lost future moments. I don't have those moments with him or my daughter. I lost conversations that, we'll never have again, Christmases we'll never have again. I lost the sound of his voice in places where I will always have them, right? That there had me spiraling. Okay, so that's what I did. Then I pulled out the thing that saved my sanity. Watercolor. Watercolor made me feel better. It's just like, wait a minute, girl, let's back up. Because gel printing wasn't doing it. I couldn't slap the paint on fast enough. I couldn't pull the print off. I definitely didn't have the patience to wait on nothing to dry. So I was like, hey, you need to go and pull out those watercolors. That's what you need to do. Because in the conversations I was having to myself, I had to admit I lost the version of life I thought I was going to have. Right? When I had my children, I'm the mother of 7 children. If you're new here, I'm the mother of 7 children. And I've lost two. I'm the grandmother of 14. I've lost one. My oldest of my son, my daughter, and my oldest granddaughter. So I've lost I always say I've lost my first. It's like God asked for your first, and I've done all. So I did a lot of breathing. Did a lot of walking. Sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't, because most of the time, my granddaughter wanted to walk with me, so I couldn't be on my own. So when I say I just still had to stay in the moment of people, the only time I really could be alone is to kind of go in the room and just close the door. But then I didn't want people to misconstrue that I was being standoffish. So even in my time of all of this, I was still worried about other people, which is something I tell y'all you shouldn't have to worry about. But we do. We do. We feel guilty about not being able to show up. At least I do. Let me speak for me. So, and the kind of loss that I suffered losing my son and my daughter, it just doesn't make me cry, or it just doesn't kind of change your life. It changes you. It changes who I am as a person. Like, and as I was kind of going through this week, quietly, silently, right, managing it on my own, I realized I've changed. Grief, it makes you sit with questions that, I mean, I didn't have all the answers, and that was upsetting me because I didn't have all the answers, right? So again, I'm getting upset with myself. But I had to acknowledge it made me wake up some mornings and feel like the world just kept on moving, but part of me was still standing still. I was still standing on Tuesday's verdict. And it was like I was standing there for my own life again. Like when my son, um, everything that went on with his life, and then after that, with his him being gone. I don't know if you're supposed to say that because I know some platforms don't want you to say whatever, but you get what I'm saying. Unalived, let's say that, right? But a part of me was still standing there. That's what anguish is. A lot of people, sometimes people, when they're feeling, what's the thing they get, panic attacks. That can be kind of, that can kind of a little bit can be anguish, but anguish for me is when my heart was trying to survive all last week, when my mind still couldn't really fully understand what the hell was going on, right? It was when people were being mean, and I'm still standing here trying to be strong. But people ask, and you don't know what you don't know. And I always say it's okay to not be okay. But they don't know that just getting out of bed took everything out of me, right? Um, it is when, I tried to smile because life still required me to show up. Like I said, I still got two little people here. Mr. McCoy is here, the dogs are here. But inside, I was carrying heavy grief like it was October the 4th all over again. And that has weighed down up until probably maybe Saturday. I'll say maybe Saturday, and I start kind of, because something happened where I was chosen. Like my life seemed like, okay, all right, I can breathe. You're here, kind of like, that goes in another lane, but we're gonna stay in this lane right here, right? And so when you're going through life, when you've had such a tragic loss, and people still expect you to show up, not only for them but for everybody else, the way you've already always shown up. And then when the time comes to for people to show up for you and they're not there, you kind of I well, let me keep this on me. I kind of get a little pissy about it and be like, you where were you when I needed somebody? And then have to go back and tell myself that's not the way we're gonna do that. We're not gonna do tit for tat. We're not gonna do that, right? You learn to carry love for them even though you have sorrow. Like you really don't want to, because you know that they're not going to reciprocate, right? And remember, I told you guys, love needs to be louder than all the other foolishness. We got a lot of mess going on in the world right now. We got a lot of people that are just being mean for no apparent reason. Um, and I'm just gonna say they don't. I'm not gonna say they weren't raised right. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm having to navigate that over here on my own. And I don't want to say all. Some people are just I don't know. I don't want to put nothing on it because see that was why I didn't do the live Wednesday. I couldn't even have said half by if y'all would have heard me Wednesday. Listen, one day maybe I'll put those couple days into a live because it was a lot of explicit. You'd probably be like, is that the same person that says she believe in God and do? It was just a Peter day. It was just a Peter moment. I was just that's all it was. And I didn't care. But what I didn't want to do was put that energy out in the world. So just like, nope, we're gonna stay on over here and just I got in the mirror, did some blessing outs and just like what are people doing? How can you say that? How can you say one thing with one voice and say something else with another voice? And these people are in here just crazy. And I was like, Karen, you need to get off the internet. You need to not watch another post. Don't let anybody else send you anything else centered around anything that's gonna put you in a space where you're gonna spiral again. Because every time I would get out, somebody would send me something, and then I'd just get mad all over again. I tell you, I could have cut some things. I cut some grass. Did go outside and cut some grass. I went outside, got on a tractor Saturday, moved some dirt, dug some holes. So I did some things that make me feel better. Um, but it still didn't take away the fact that I could probably get in a couple of people's face and just, yeah. And that is what I've been trying to get rid of that anger. That right there. I don't like being that angry. I don't like to be that. And so that's why I was saying it got me back in the place of when my son passed away. And so for me, the anguish of losing my son, um, that love tied to that other the situation, with Carmelo Anthony and his family and for a minute, and I'm gonna say this, I mean somebody might take it and it's as for create joy studio there when the whole thing happened, my heart went out to again my heart goes out to any mother that has to grieve their child. Okay, now what happened after that had nothing to do with the loss of the child. That's the part where I could possibly separate the two and be like, how could you be so rude and so whatever, all the things. So that's the part where I'm continuing to grow through that. I don't know no other way to put it. And that may sound strange, but the depth of my anguish kind of speaks to the depth of my love for my son and knowing that mother, Carmelo's Anthony's mother, had to go through. I don't have to think about what she had to go through. It's just mine just happened to be on a different side. I did have to deal with my son being in public like that, public eye, and being scrutinized because of things, and then watching the world drag his name. I do know what that feel like, and it hurt deeply, right? And then for the parents to not the mom, but the dad to just kind of do some things that he's been doing. I just couldn't understand that. And I'm just grieving deeply for him because I know he's hurting. But still, on the same token, it's just like he's a jackass. Like you're hurting, but you're still hurting other people. I don't see how they go together. Like I never wanted the people who took my son's life. I never wanted them to, in the state of Texas, it is they have capital punishment, and you get the. I never wanted that to be the end result because I never wanted another mother to be put in the place I was, right? I have family members it's just like bump them, who cares? Whatever, whatever. Well, I just didn't want. I know what it feels like. So I guess I don't know. And it again, that's the part where I'm still over here, we're still wrestling with how can another parent just be so hateful? And it just hurt. So I'm gonna leave that alone because I'm still emotional around it, and it's still just I just don't understand it, and I don't know. But y'all continue to pray for all involved. And again, that young man, everybody lost. Nobody won. I feel like everybody lost. And that's just me from a weakened place as a mother who loved, who's grieving. And that's my anguish. And there are days when anguish shows up, quietly for me. Sunday, yesterday, it wasn't as dramatic. I had a little bit of time to sit in silence. Um, it looked it was me sitting, well, normally I would sit on the porch, but I wasn't sitting on the porch. I just came in the studio and tried to, be in here, but that's not a quiet space either. So I just tried to find a place for me, and I just ended up going in the room and just taking time for me. And that's what I had to do because I know I needed to sit down, right? And so thinking, because it put my son back on my heart real bad, because there are days when the anguish comes in little bitty waves, like, for his birthday, and happens to be around the holiday because his birthday is December 17th. Or I hear a song, or you get a smell, or Facebook pops up with all the memories, right? um or sometimes, a place. But one little thing can open up the door to a thousand emotions. And in the past, I realized, I was talking to Crystal this morning. Well, yeah, this morning. And I realized when I was talking to her, I was like, normally I can just kind of, rein it in. I didn't know. And as I was talking to her, I was like, you know what? Normally I'm home alone. I don't have anybody here, or it's just, William is here, but having the grandkids here. Normally I would be able to go get on the tractor, cry on the tractor, scream on the tractor, or the lawnmower. I'm able to do something and outwardly let those emotions out, right? I couldn't do that, or let me say, I chose not to do that because for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, there's people here. That's just how it's been. And so I held in all those emotions. And then when Tuesday came, it just kind of compounded it. And my safe space was no longer my safe space, if that makes sense, right? Here at home, inside the ranch, inside the gate is my safe space. But when I close the gate, there are people here, right? So I couldn't do what I normally would do. And instead of doing it anyway, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, I just realized, I was like, God, I can't do that. I can't do this, and I didn't do it. And next thing you know, that anguish just took over and it wasn't nothing I could do about it. So when, like I said, when Wednesday came, I just like, yep, can't do that. Can't do that. I have too much anger. I have too much going on inside. I do not want to put this energy out in the world. It was enough. Didn't want to put my opinions, none of that, right? But I did need to name what was going on in my life, right? Because I didn't want to continue carrying it in unhealthy ways. I didn't want to become bitter and get upset. Like I really had to shut down because there were things that would go on around the house and just like, oh, it was driving me. It was just like, oh, just this. And it had nothing to do with the things. It had everything to do with me sitting in my anguish. And I didn't want to shut down. I didn't want to push people away, right? I didn't want to pretend like I was fine. I didn't want to tell that lie. I'm fine. I'm good. I didn't want to become angry with the world. I just wanted to be there for myself. So I've learned, I took my tools, because y'all know I told y'all, same tools I give y'all. I took my tools and I said to myself, I'm hurting today. I'm hurting right now. I miss my son. I miss my son right now. I'm not okay right now. I need space. I need support. I need God to hold me because I cannot hold myself together today. And I had to say that a couple days. Like I had to walk that thing out. And then I had to remind myself that this is not a bad thing, Karen. You're not weak. You are being honest, which y'all know we're talking about emotional intelligence. I feel like God set me up because we're already talking about emotional intelligence. I walked right into it. So that was my self-awareness, right? That grief is being spoken instead of buried. Like I didn't want to bury it in. Like I needed to talk this thing out. I needed to like y'all saw all the books I made and all the things. And so let me tell you something. Buried grief does not disappear. It just waits and it has walls and it waits for a quiet moment. It waits for a time when you're sitting somewhere. It waits for a trigger and it waits for a day when you are already tired and you're already frustrated. Then it comes up and it asks to be felt. So me personally, I'm learning not to run from my anguish. I'm learning to sit with it. Now, everybody don't want to do that. Like even here in my marriage, I had to realize, like I believe it was I believe it was Sunday. No, it might have been Monday of last week. Mr. McCoy said two things. I said what I said with what I said, and I walked away. I came in the house. By the time I walked from where I was to where I needed to be, and then I walked it out, and I was just like, "Hey, there was a better way that you could have expressed that. You're feeling something. I didn't know what it was, and so I went after about maybe 10, 15 minutes because I needed to really name it. Just like, what is it? And then once I named it, then I walked back out there and I had a conversation. And it's just like, listen, this is what the problem is. I apologize for how I said what I said, but I still stand by what I said. I was just rude for how I said it, right? And then after that, I didn't have nothing else to say about it because I know I needed to give him time to think about what I said. If you don't deal with things and name what it is, it's going to catch you. It's going to catch you off guard. So then that was Monday. No, I believe that was Sunday. It was either Saturday or Sunday. So by the time Tuesday came along, I was over it. But I've learned to breathe through it. I learned to sit with it and name it. I learned to pray about it. But then in that prayer, I was like, God, you know you put me here. I'm mad. I don't have time. Don't want to pray about it right now. So you already knew you was gonna put me here. So you already know what the prayer is. So leave me alone right now. Let me get through this. Guide me where I need to be guided. And that's when I ended up pulling out old papers that I've written when I was in school. It was not failure. It was not a bad thing. Like I cried through some things, but my tears were the language of my heart that I had loved and lost, right? And there have been moments when I wondered how could I carry this kind of pain and still have joy? Because that was why I told y'all I felt bad about not doing Wednesdays. Just like, God, I'm supposed to have the joy. But joy does not erase the anguish. So I had to walk out another phase of my journey. Just like, hey, okay, next time when that happens, maybe put a disclaimer, put a little gag order on what you're gonna talk about. Maybe just paint and maybe talk about painting. Don't talk about encouraging anybody. Tell them on the live, hey, I'm not here to encourage today. I'm just here to slap some paint on some paper or gel plate print or whatever. Because if I would have talked, I would have just said things that I know I would have probably had to delete the live, y'all. Because yeah, I didn't want y'all to hear. I don't want to hear how I had to voice and get to the quiet place, but I had to go through it. I did. So it's work. Being very, very transparent, very, very open and honest with y'all because I want y'all to know it's work. We got a lot going on in the world right now. We got a lot of people that seeming like they could give less than a darn. They don't care. The reason why they don't care, and this is part of my um as I sat with it, they haven't suffered the loss that a lot of people have suffered. So they're speaking from a place that they just don't know. It's easy to talk about um, calling somebody's son whatever you want to call it, or daughter, whatever you want to call it, because you can't speak from that hurt place. Your life is full of cherries and strawberries and nice watermelons that's nice and sweet, and all the good things. You don't know, life hasn't come and knocked on your door yet, but we all will lose someone that will put us in the place that I'm talking about, because the joy sits beside it and says, you still alive, you still here, and there's still breath in your body, there's still a purpose, right? But your heart's gonna hurt. Your heart hurts, right? That is why I couldn't come in the studio, and then I felt bad because I couldn't come in the studio, because I create from my heart. But I had to tell myself there is still love in your heart, and you still can create, you still can sit and be here in the place that you are in, right? That's why I come in the studio and color. That's why I made all those journals. I couldn't talk, but I could still create. I could still show up for the person that mattered the most in that moment, and that was me. Because when I think about creating, I think about creating gives my anguish somewhere to go. As I put all those books together, crying through some of it, fussing through some of it, some of it, then I could name my emotions, right? And sometimes I had to, abandon, rip it out. Excuse me. One couple of them, man, I had to redo the book like 3 times because I kept going and like ripping the hole because I was pulling too tight. And I was just, so I had to tell myself, it's like, hey, why so much stress? Why so much pressure? It's just like, because I'm mad. And then I talked that anger out and talked it out and walked it out. And then after I talked it out, walked it out, then it did fine. So then I realized, okay, making these journals is doing something. All right, let's continue. So I continued on. But it took me some days, y'all. Took me some days, but I acknowledged it. I said, this is my grief, and this is my grief in a different form that I had never ever seen before. And it was because this love, this is the love that I shared with my son that had come back through another form of something else that was going on in the world that was hurting my heart, right? And it hurt, and I acknowledged it. It hurt, but I'm still here. I'm still breathing, still creating, still loving, and I'm still healing. I'm still believing that God can give me strength from day to day. Even though I told him I didn't want to be bothered, leave me alone. He directed me in my quiet, even in my sleep, right? But not for the whole year. You have to continue doing this work. It doesn't hold all on. Like I didn't do it just for this one week and then it's gonna last forever. Like this is a continuation. This is a part of who I am. And I think sometimes I kind of get beside myself and feel like, okay, I got it. I got it. It's good. I got it. I got it. But it was like being in a boxing match. The last 2 weeks, the last week was like being in a boxing match, and I just could not control. I couldn't put the hand up fast enough to catch the next punch that was coming. And then God forbid I say something and then didn't get the, if I tell somebody and then doesn't land the way I wanted it to land, then that would have made me feel like I just wasted my time talking to them because they don't get it. Or sometimes people talk to me and they hurt for me, and it's like, no, get in this ring with me. I need you to help me fight, fight, fight. I tell you what to do. I'm telling you, and there's never a right or a wrong way to do the fight. It's just like just knowing that you got somebody there to fight with you, right? The fight, the good fight of grief. And so I feel like in the past I've kind of shut down that part of me. And that's why I say I know I handle it by myself. And that's something else that I feel like God also did. Put me in a situation to where he's like, hey, you can't keep trying to walk this journey by yourself, girl. And it's like, but I have the studio, right? And then I didn't have the studio. It's just like, well, you got little people in your in your space. What you gonna do now? So I had some good work. I had some good work, but I had to acknowledge that his death changed my life continuously. It continues to change my life, but it did not erase my purpose, right? My pain is real. It really is real, but so is my love, which is why when something happens in the world, the empath in me really takes it on. Like my grief gets really real. And then I really have to exercise my faith real hard, right? And acknowledge this time I had to acknowledge my anguish was back and it's real. But so is the joy that I'm learning to reclaim one day at a time through it all, right? And maybe that is what healing looks like for maybe me or maybe you. I don't know. But don't pretend it didn't hurt. And that's what I told myself. It's just like, yeah, this shit hurt. It came out just like that. Just like, yep, I don't have time to be eloquent. I ain't got time to look for no words. I don't have time to deal with other people and their crap right now. I got what I got. I want what I want, and this is just it. Can you give it to me? If you can't, get out of my way. So, being that my little people are here, it wasn't their fault. So I wasn't asking them anything. I wasn't even trying to be in their space and in their moment. But some at some point, it's just like, yo, hey, yeah, you might need to go over there and sit down because right now you're doing stuff that's gonna get you in trouble. I mean, you still got to stay in your sanity as because you still got to be a parent. In this instance, a grandparent, which is why I was saying normally I don't have to do that because I was able to grieve without having to worry about whether somebody got to eat or not. So those that wanted to know are those that cared enough, those that which is pretty much everybody that comes over here and hangs out. Y'all pretty much know. Um, and the people that probably will never hear this video, we need to serve more love and not be happy when something bad happens to someone. We just don't need to be there like that, you know? So this is my version of anguish in color. I was trying to see if I was gonna get away from the color. And it did. I just realized, just like, wait a minute, it's supposed to be color. That's just blue. So that's monochromatic blue. So we gotta switch it up because this anguish is in color, right? Just like, what is anguish? What does it mean? Why does it have to be? It's a part. It's an emotion. So emotional suffering and feeling intense sorrow, despair, fear, or helplessness for somebody means that you empathize with them, right? Not, oh my God, I feel so bad for her. That's sympathy. But when you say, hey, I want to get in the trenches with you. Hey, I'm sending your email. I'm praying for you. Hey, I hope you feel better. Hey, something, whatever. That is like, okay. Or it's just like I got somebody. It's just like, hey, who I need to cuss out? Hey, no, it ain't that bad. You ain't got to cuss nobody out. I'm good. I don't want no somebody coming in your nope, nope, not that. This is my own personal journey over here. It's okay. But that's what you need. People that'll go to the mat with you. And here, hey, everybody can't do it. Everybody can't do it. So it's okay. It's a physical heaviness that everybody can't handle, right? Some people haven't lost a dog. Some people haven't lost a cat. Some people haven't lost anything. So they can't even begin to imagine what I'm going through or what you may be going through, right? And that's okay. So I'm not saying that like, oh my goodness, you can't be empathetic. Like, God, can you read the room? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is if you don't have the empathy to, then just sit there and be like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Ask the question so maybe somebody in the group could answer for you. Me personally, I just realized that some people just couldn't walk with me as bad as they wanted to. They just couldn't be like, you know what? I don't even have the mental capacity to even control your thoughts right now. It's all about you. It's all about you. Everything is about you. I don't care how we talk about it, it centers, it turns around, it's about you. I don't have the emotional. to do it right now. Can't do it. Go get somebody else to do it. I can't do it. You have to be honest. Tell people that they can't come in your circle right now because you need all the energy you can to keep you from drowning out there in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, right? And no, you're not going to be, everybody's not going to be happy with your decision. Everybody probably wasn't happy with my decision. I don't care. I had to take care of me, right? Had to take care, I had to stay home and take care of me. And people from a selfish space would be like, well, you really could have did X, Y, and Z. I'm not gonna tell y'all what I've said to a couple people already. I'm not gonna do that because I'm not in that headspace anymore. But y'all can probably figure it out. Okay. All right, that's red. But anguish, anguish. I don't want you to feel broken. I don't want you to feel abandoned. I always want to be here for you. I always want to take care of me so that I can be here for you because that's what I feel like. No, that's what I know God has called me to do. But I also know that God has also called me to work out my own foolishness so that when I see it, I can call it out. And he's also made sure that, when I see something and I be like, you know what, that doesn't make sense. Or I can't believe I did that and be like, oh, my bad. Maybe need to, like ask for, I apologize for that. Maybe I said something wrong to somebody in a state. Because grief will have you cussing folk out. Grief will have you not caring about their feelings. Because in my grief, I'll be like, they don't care about mine. So why the hell should I care about theirs? Right? I'm gonna lose some people over the rest of this year, y'all. Because I'm gonna put down some hard roots. We have some vines here that grow in Alabama. I can't remember the name of them. I think they came from Japan or somewhere when they brought this flower over here to can't remember what they brought it for, the origin of. I'm gonna have to get the story so I can tell y'all on Wednesday. But it's the vine, when I tell you it's so invasive, but some people have been so invasive in my life, I need them to get cut and I need to burn them out. We have some that might be some are friends, some are family that have to be just not, you can't really, yeah, I mean you can, but I don't like to cut family off 100%, but I do like to give them a boundary. And once they get to, it's like putting a dog on a leash and tell him he only got so far to go on that leash, right? So that's kind of what I do because you're still family. You can't, but I can't control how I respond to you. And I don't want to be mean and nasty to people. So I have to keep people at an arm's length, right? So some people are going to be, I don't know if they're going to be upset. I don't care. In this last week, I've realized that I've had to take time for me. And in this last week, and when I did my journaling and did some things and did some real hard work, it's just like, yeah, they add nothing to your life. Like Mr. McCoy, I've been telling him, leave to cleave. Leave to cleave. That's just it. I don't have nothing else to say. We leave to cleave. We either leaving to cleaving or we ain't doing. Not that we get a divorce, but it's just I'm not dealing with certain situations. Because why? It doesn't serve me. Okay? But the simple way to say when we're talking about anguish, and this is my version of showing you anguish in color, anguish is pain that feels like it reaches the depth of like I feel like he laid me down and he put me to sleep. Well, actually, he didn't put me to sleep, but he numbed my chest. He opened me up, took my heart out, and then he just took a little bit over here, and then took a little bit over here, and then took a little bit over here. And then he closed it back up and he put it back in. And he said, okay, now live. And she's like, wait a minute, but you've taken some parts of me. And that's that anguish when things happen that make me, get real anxious. That anxiety comes in, get real anxious. And then, the physical heaviness of it all, your tightening of the chest, you're exhausted. You have maybe crying spells. You even get stomach pains. My stomach pains had kind of came back. And I had those. That's the real key indicator that I'm not taking care of me. I even had a little light headache. I was just like, yeah, no, this isn't cool, right? Because your body carries that grief. And then when you're trying to take care of everything else and then nobody is helping, man, look, anguish does not mean that I was weak. It means something, I lost something that mattered deeply to me. And now I'm choosing to kind of close the door to things that were making it worse. My heart was already responding to the loss, the trauma, in a very human way. My healing didn't remove, healing does not always remove the anguish, right? So you gotta walk that thing out. Okay. So this is my version of anguish in color. I want to be able to slap these watercolors down in some way and mix it all up because watercolor just makes me happy. And as I put these down here, it has really made me feel very much so happy. Really has. And so I hope through me being very, very transparent with how I've been navigating the last week, I hope that helped. And if you have any question, reach out. Or if you have any questions in in the chat, let me go back over here to my chat where I can see if anybody at slapping paint on paper, I can usually see that. But okay, we're good. We're good. If there's anything, because right now it's a good, I think it's a good time. I think I will be writing another book. That's well, I got two books that I just haven't put them out there. Let's put it that way. But this one, I think we're gonna go. I'm gonna maybe, I don't know. It might just be a book that I need to write for me, right? Sometimes my journals turns into books, but sometimes those books are just for me because healing on this journey, like I told y'all, it's not easy. I don't want people to think just because I show up on here that I got it all together. No, I planned on coming in and sharing the week and how I just couldn't show up. How the energy that I did have, I needed to give to my granddaughters and then show up for me. And I'm happy to say that, I'm still doing it. It's not a done deal. I'm still working through it, right? Still working through it. And that right there, my friends, that's a whole word in itself. So I want you to name, if you're going through some things, I want you to name your emotions. Get out of the basic emotions. We have the words. How do you feel? Oh, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm stressed, I'm fine, I'm pissed off. We have those. I want you to go deeper. Like go deep, deep. Find out why. Why are you happy? So that you can continue to be happy. Why are you sad? So you cannot be sad. Continue, like you don't want to continue being sad. You don't want to, like what's making you sad? Ask yourself all these questions, right? And angry. Why are you angry? Who are you angry with? And if you're stressed, same thing. Ask question. And if you're telling yourself that you're fine when you know you're not fine, listen. Don't do that to yourself. Life is complex enough. You don't have to. And when we don't have the right words for what we feel, that's usually when we mislabel our pain. Like, or people misunderstand how we feel because we'd be like, "Oh, I'm fine." when you're really angry with them and you're talking, oh, I'm fine. And then they want to continue talking to you, but you're really ready to just like slap the crap out of them. I told Mr. McCoy in the store the other day, I think it was in the store. Yeah, we was in Costco Saturday. And I just had a thought in my head and he kind of did something and it just kind of took me back a couple years. Like I was like, man, sometimes I just want to cut your head off. And so he just kind of looked and walked on off and to get some more snacks out of Costco. And then we got in the car. Usually, normally he wouldn't ask, but he got in the car. He's just like, now, what made you want to cut my head off? I was like, it ain't nothing now. It was just something that happened in the past. It's just, it's not nothing now. But I was processing out loud. And the person that I needed to process with happened to be right there. Because a lot of my I'm fine moments have come from, things in the past and in my life that I've just said I'm fine or I'm good or I've let them be good in our relationship. And then I'm like, really, I just want to tell these people, can you just leave me alone? I just don't want to do you. We don't have anything in common. Let's just agree to just disagree. I don't like you, you don't like me. Let's go with that. Okay? Or not. But because I've lied to myself for so many years, now oh, you know what? This is what it was. I was looking at Brene Brown on one of her books. I think it was Daring to Be Great. I think that's what it was. And it was saying, when you've lied to yourself so long in friendships, when the friends finally call in and they want to have, dinner or whatever, and then you're just like, they're like, they order this wine that you said you liked, right? And you're like, I don't want that nasty behind wine. She said the A word. And then they're like, well, it's your favorite. Don't we like this? And it's like, no, we don't like this. You like this. I just like you. And I was like, whoa, that is it. But that's the people pleaser in us too. Because we want people to like us, then we don't want to disappoint, you know. Mr. McCoy said that about the kids. He's just like, I was just like, hey, we're not doing devices. Like when you come here, you're gonna be here. You're gonna be present. You don't need devices. And so my granddaughter asked for the charger, and I was just like, no, you don't need it. But then they go behind my back, and then he gives them the charger. So I was just like, so you just really just did that? That was part of my spiraling that added to the spiraling. Um, because when they're here, I like for them to be creative, and they're so creative when they don't have their damn devices. So I gave it up. I was just like, you know what, fine. But you're not gonna come in my studio with devices, right? I'm putting foot down somewhere in this daggum house. But he said he didn't want to be the bad guy. I was just like, fine, okay, well, you don't be the bad guy. And that made me think about, in our marriage, it's just like, oh, he just don't want to be the bad guy to tell these people that they're just, whoever. I was like, oh, okay. I don't have no problem being the bad guy. I'll be your Huckleberry. No problem. So that's where I'm coming from. So that's why I say we're gonna have to cut, burn, dig up, and continue to make sure these weeds don't grow back. This is very, very beautiful. I am loving this. So now I'm gonna come in on top of this. Oh, okay. I'm done with all of that. We done. I'm done. Okay. So now, World Watercolor Month is July. I am ready. I will be putting up my thumbnails. So I will be live every day in July for World Watercolor Month. And I want y'all, um, if you have not looked up the prompts, because the prompts are already up and out, look up the prompts. I usually don't ever do the prompts. I usually kind of do the prompts or whatever, but I don't like being put in a box like that, being told what to do. So but I am super duper excited that I'm going to do World Watercolor Month again. This will be my second year of doing it every single day. Last year I did the rose challenge. So I don't know if I'm gonna do a rose challenge or do a challenge. um I kind of want to just be creative every single day. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's me saying I don't want to use the basics, right? I don't want to name it. I don't want to make it complex, or I just want it to be or watercolor month every day. And the timing, it will be different. because I will have to go around, some people that are alive. Um, for the most part, I'm gonna try to stick to my 3 o'clock time. I think the 3 o'clock time won't work on Tuesday, Thursday. Those probably the only days that I'm not gonna be at 3, which maybe will mean I'll do it in the morning. Not sure, not sure, not sure. So that's just how that's gonna be. I'm super duper excited about it, right? Still, I think that's all that I needed for my what's coming up. That's where we're going in July. July was going to be easier. Easy. I will be continuing talking about, I feel like the anguish is going to be put into our conversation about emotional intelligence. And remember, emotional intelligence. We want to have emotional intelligence because that means we're owning our own stuff. We are owning our own stuff. The dogs done woke up now and they just right here just doing whatever. Need to sit down. I can't let you out because it's raining, right? So I want to ask you this question. What if the goal, I don't like the word goal. See, and I wrote down goal. I cannot believe I wrote that goal down. I don't want to worry about it. We'll leave it alone. But emotional intelligence, y'all remember. If you didn't, if you're new here or if you're on team replay, you just what you talking about? There's a video, right? There's a video. Check it out. I have video for that. Ask me about my YouTube channel. I'm going to stick this on something that so I'll have it where people get to see it and they're like, wait, what? But I got 2 shirts for that. But if you didn't know, this is PM Artist Studio. Mariah created this because we got a video for it. Like, yeah. So emotional intelligence is not about where you come from. It's about what you learn, practice, and choose to become. So for me over here on emotional intelligence, I've been putting my emotional intelligence in a concept of my core values. So I've rehoned some of my core values because they changed. So some of the core values have changed for me because some of the things that I felt like I had to have or needed, they're no longer part of my core value, right? So the best way for people to learn how to manage their emotions, I personally feel, is to know who are you at your core, right? So emotional intelligence kind of helps you navigate through that. And I kind of like it. And the other thing that I like about emotional intelligence is it doesn't factor in your skin, your ethnicity, you know, your where you grew up or none of that, right? Emotional intelligence is a set of skills, right? That you I feel like they evolved. That's why my core values had to be realigned. It's self-awareness, your self-control, like who you are when somebody says something to you. I feel like my emotional intelligence prepared me for last week. I needed to be aware that I couldn't show up because I couldn't have control over my mouth and what I was going to say, right? I had too much empathy and I was just my communication was not going to be cool, right? So therefore, I've learned and strengthened myself and practiced this. So my emotional intelligence showed up and showed out last week, but it was sad, but it was great, right? So if you don't know what I'm talking about with emotional intelligence, there's video for that. I'll have it. I'll try to link it whenever this live comes available. I'll try to put it up. But I can't give you the main components of emotional intelligence because it's what I kind of just said: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and your social skills. The social skills part of it is what made me go back and redo my core values, right? And core values is what does things mean to you? What it is for you isn't what it means for me, right? I was brought up in a home where it was a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of fussing, cussing, drinking, and all of that. So I in turn tried to raise my kids absence of that, which in turn made it, you know, totally something totally different now, right? So we have to walk those things out. And I like for you to kind of put them together, your emotional intelligence and your core values. And the values that you ask yourself this question, the values I want to practice as I grow in emotional intelligence are dot, 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 right? That's how that thing can work out. And normally, like I even have, I told y'all I did a journal, done a journal. Like I'm doing this work. I'm doing this work over here behind the scenes. There's tears for the first time. It wasn't tears on artwork, it was tears on pages and paper. So I have it that way and I have it another way. And then I'm going to put it to where you can either buy it digitally, where you can print it out over and over and over and over again, or you can, I can print it out, right? Get it printed out. And I don't want to have any on hand, but maybe I can get with Mariah and find out, is there something that I can, what do you call it, where it can be kind of like the t-shirts. I don't want to keep stuff on hand, but when somebody order it, it gets click whatever in the book, the physical, because some people like physical books. Oh, hey, Mariah, you in chat. Listen, I wasn't looking, y'all. Got to back to, I'm here. I have been for a while catching up. Okie dokie. Listen, hey, y'all. Look, Eddie there. Y'all, I was trying to get back in my space. I'm feeling myself. I'm catching up. I'm feeling me. That's what I've been trying to do. And I knew possibly going live was going to do it for me, but I just didn't want to go through all of the negativity. I wanted to be able to, that's what I'm saying. That's what the emotional intelligence does for you, right? So you want to be able to like have self-control. I do not have to be ruled by every emotion. I had to pause, I had to breathe, and I had to choose my response wisely. I wasn't finna come on here going all out. I wanted to, but I feel like there was enough people in the world doing that, and I didn't want to be one of them. I needed to give my voice, or I needed to prepare my voice for when that time comes. Because, you know, there is going to be a time where it is going to have to be spoken up. Because y'all know, I mean, I got platforms around here for mothers who have lost children. And I actually happen to have to talk to a lot of people. Because why? Friends like, hey, I know somebody who can talk to you that's been through that or is going through something similar. And when I have to talk to them, then that means I have to have empathy, and then I have to be in a place to where I have to be able to not just go off. Can't do it. So I gotta have self-control. Yes, I would like to bleep, 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 bleep. I would. But I've learned that that doesn't, at the end of it all, I'd be very embarrassed because it'd be like, now what did that solve? Be like, I don't know. I don't even feel good after it. But sometimes you have to bleep bleep at some people and then you feel good a little bit. So I leave that for my people who like to do it and feel good after doing it. I tend to feel real bad after I've cussed somebody out. I don't know, it depends on who it is. Yeah, print on demand. That's it, Zal. Print on demand. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, thank you, Cookie, for putting that in there. Emotion and oh, look, see, that's what I'm saying. Cookie, I'm gonna give you my phone number. So I'm gonna text you and be like, hey, I need this, I need that. So you can send me like, hey, this is you got this. You know, you just need something, you need it. Because I remember like when I didn't go and Mariah reached out and I was like, yeah, I can't talk. I can't talk right now because the things I would say, I wouldn't feel good about having to talk to you later after you hear me say some of those words. She's like, I'm here for you. I was like, I know. But I just couldn't, I could not knowing, I wouldn't have been able to sleep some nights knowing that somebody heard some of the things that I had said. It was okay. Just know that's the bougie in me. I'm just like, oh, and that's part of my core values too. I've heard enough of it growing up. I don't want my voice to be out there like that because I feel like I can, and I know I can find words to really articulate how I was feeling, but in the moment, I didn't have time, nor did I want to. So I had to own it and be like, yep, this is gonna feel good right here. And the only person needs to feel good from it is me. I don't want to encourage anybody else. So I've been very vulnerable with you guys today. Print on demand works for me in UK. Oh, that's good to know. So I'll get into that, but and I also wanted to be able for people to print it out for the print on demand to be able to pick the size and the weight. I don't want to make it like a 8 by 10 and people like, oh, I surely wish this was in a 5 by 7. I want to know if I can even do all of that. So I'm in the process of, but now that I've constructed it, and it was done through my pain, sweat, and tears. Now that I've done that, um, literally worked through the booklet this past week. It feels good, and once it get out there, I am open for maybe could we do this, but the emotional intelligence, it's a work in progress, right? Because it's something that you kind of you can only go on it from where you go on it because you can only feel it from how you feel it. And then if I print it out, I'm printing it out based on how I have felt. But if you're like, hey, this doesn't fit me, can maybe we add this? Then I would prefer feedback because maybe that could be what somebody else might need too. So yeah, I'm open for that. Sit down, Sienna. Sienna's like, hey, you've been on long enough. Be like, hey, go sit down. And it's raining. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, slapping paint on paper. Y'all get to see how it makes my heart happy. And then when this dries, I'm gonna come back in with some gold and put some gold on there. All right. I don't have nothing else. I don't have nothing else to talk about. I really don't. Now that I've painted this out, do I have some gold over here? It's over here. No, I need to find some gold. I have something else that I was gonna show y'all too. I don't know where it's at. Oh, no, that's not it. I don't know. That's what happens when you miss a whole week of hanging out like online, period. So I'll prepare everything. If there's anything that I miss, I'll hone it back in and make note of it to kind of put it on the desk because I'm in the process of doing something in the studio with some, what do they call those things? Um Flats, crates. They're not crates. They're half a crate, no, half a, where stuff comes on. Usually when you buy stuff and you get a flat of it, I have a whole bunch of the wood in the out there in the barn. So I was talking to Mr. McCoy about creating some storage, not storage to hide stuff, but storage to kind of make it more organized. Pallets. Thank you. That's exactly what it is. And we have a whole barn full because I had to do some woodwork, and I'll share that. I'll share it in the community what I'm talking about. Somebody else might want it. That's good. Look at that. Oh, purple. Instead of, because I was gonna buy two more toolboxes, and then I saw something popped up on Pinterest. I was like, wait, I got some of those. I think I can do that. So I asked Mr. McCoy, and he said, yeah, but I don't know when we're gonna start it because he's off the rest of this week. So I don't know what's on his agenda, nor do I want to put stuff that I want to do on his agenda. But I just pull the twos out for me. Y'all ever have thoughts? You have those thoughts, right? And then you're just like, oh, and then the next thing you know, 10 minutes later, you've implemented, you started it, and then you're halfway into it, and you're just like, this is gonna be a little bit more difficult than what I thought, right? So I don't want it to be that bad, but we shall see. We shall see. Is there a date set for the June members Zoom? You know what? I feel like, and I don't know. Let's see. Who's out here? Lindaville. I feel like we set a date, and I hope that it wasn't this past Sunday. And I was just not. I don't. Let me. You know what? Hold on. Let me go to my Zoom because I feel like I did put something on the calendar. Um, Not today. Can we do? How can we look at this thing? Sunday there. Okay, I know it's not the 21st because that's Father's Day. Sunday, that's Sunday. What's on the 28th? I guess I didn't put anything on there. So I guess we can do it on the 28th. I think so. Allocate, I think if anybody, so any of my members, if you're on here, can you remember what we talked about? Because I feel like um I can't remember. I don't know. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know. I'm gonna say the 28th, if we can do the 28th, because I feel like the 21st was Father's Day, and I feel like it might have been the 28th, but I don't know. I've had a lot going on since then. But I will put over in the member a question. It was supposed to be C. That's what I thought. So my apologies. My apologies. So if we can do the 28th, but I feel like that was yeah, because wait, one, two, one, two. Yeah, we'll see if we can do the 28th. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if we can do the 28th. I'll put it over in the thing, but I thought it might have been yesterday. You could do the 28th. Okay, so I'll put the question for my members, for those that are part of my membership. I will put over in the community and if we can do the 28th because I was unavailable mentally and physically on the 14th, nor did I say anything about it because I didn't have it on my notes. That's just that's just bad Karen. Do apologize. No, I'm not gonna be like they say, charge it to my heart, charge it to my head, not my heart. Just don't charge it to either, because neither one of them was in a position to receive. So that's how that go. That's how I'm gonna say. I just wasn't in the mind space for either. Okay, so that's what I want you to work on. Your core values intertwine with your emotional intelligence. Figure out what emotional intelligence is for you, what you need to work on, that kind of thing. And then, we'll chat about it or send me a message or over in the community. I'm doing better with trying to do stuff over in the community. I do like the fact that I got a one-stop shop over here with YouTube. So that's what we're going to continue doing. And I'm going to continue honing in and making YouTube my place, like my jam. All right. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, this is my invitation for you to subscribe to the channel. If you've been here all this time, that means you kind of like me, especially today with all my whining and all of my letting you have all of my honesty and my transparency. This is usually what I do over here at Create Joy Studio. I don't hide it. I let you know because life is already hard enough. We got enough going on. I don't want you to have to go through life alone. I don't want to have to go through life alone. It's good to know that I have people here when I need to reach out. And when I need to be alone and quiet, I can do that as well. So hit that subscribe button, that bell notification all, so that when I do go live, you will be notified. And when I put up all of the thumbnails, you'll be notified of all the things, right? And again, I thank all my members for being patient with me because I wasn't there. And I thank y'all for being a part. So, and that's the other thing. If you do hit that subscribe button, you're like, what's this membership she's talking about? Once you hit that subscribe button, there's a join button. If you want to do both in the same time, hey, don't let me threaten you with a good time. Come hang out with us. We do Zooms once a month. Once a month, we create on Zoom. All right, guys, let me see. Anything else? Oh, and Team Replay, thank y'all for showing up. And if you want to order any of the journals that I showed at the beginning, for the Coptic ones, these I have not put them on my website yet, but they will be there. But if you want one of these, just send me a message, email me, that you want one of those, and I can we chat about it. I haven't put nothing on. I haven't put price on them or nothing. But the other ones are still $10. These are still $10, and there's plenty of them since I went and created more. You get to take my art and combine it with your artwork, and together we'll collaborate, and then you get to share. All right, guys. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. If the Lord says the same, if for some reason life just happens again, I will send out a cancel because I am taking my own advice and I am taking care of me first. And that's what I want you guys to do. Remember, you can't do life alone. Have somebody that you can fall on when life gets hard. I love you guys for showing up. See you later. Bye.